Next question is for Representative Sutton, particularly. It states that you continue to support your stance on the Religious Freedom Bill, denying it is discriminatory, yet the bill specifically calls out same-sex marriage. How is calling out one group of people to be treated differently not discriminatory?
Yes, indeed. I knew that one would be here. All right. Not worried. When we talked earlier about the process, that's what we're talking about. Situations exactly like this. The Senate decided that bill wasn't ready for prime time, so it didn't pass. Now you can continue to rail about bills that may have passed, didn't pass, could have passed, would have passed. But the reality is it didn't take effect. Now, do I still support the intent of that bill? Yes, I do, without a doubt. As we see Hobby Lobby fighting in the Supreme Court right now, as we see lawsuits filed against bakers, candlestick makers, photographers, you name it, caterers, yes, I still support that bill. Now, you mentioned, however, that it singles out homosexual marriage. That's completely incorrect, by the way. What it singles out is business owners with religious liberty. What it singles out is prohibiting them from being sued for not taking part in a procedure that they don't believe in against their religious liberties. We have that right. We have that right in Kansas. We have that right in America. That if you don't, I don't even take a stand on the homosexual marriage issue with regard to this bill. That's not the point. The point is, can a business owner be sued for not taking part in the ceremony? And lest you think that the spin that got put out throughout the public was accurate, this is exactly what that bill covered, was only taking part in that ceremony. All right, a caterer for a reception of a homosexual wedding. The clergyman being forced to take part in a homosexual wedding. And there was a baker, I think, who was told to make a wedding cake. Who refused? Refused business. And we're taken to court for it. As a business owner, you don't give up your constitutional liberties. And that's what this bill was about. So do I support it? Do I support the intent of the bill? Yes, absolutely. Was it ready for prime time? Obviously not. It got shut down. We'll see what happens in the future. Also understand that none of this would take effect currently in Kansas, because 70% of the Kansas population voted to disallow homosexual marriage. That was the Defense of Marriage Act. It was passed in, what, 2008, 2007, something like that. Quite a little while back. What we were doing with that bill, the Religious Liberties Bill, was preparing for the 10th Circuit Court decision that we know already will overturn the will of the voters. It's happening in Oklahoma just during the session. We know it'll happen. We're preparing for that eventuality. You could say maybe we could wait until it takes place and then react, but that's not prudent legislation. When you're able to see the future, when you already know what's going to happen, it's your job to take steps to prepare for it.
Did you want to weigh in, Senator?
Yes. The reason the bill wasn't ready for prime time was there was some wording, I think the way it was structured caused some consternation. But the underlying bill and the intent of the bill, I think, is valid. And, we had a hearing on the Senate side, a separate hearing, and brought in some national experts in the field to talk about this very issue. And I think we had a very fair hearing. I think there's probably a lot more discussion that needs to take place. I would welcome that, but as I understand the intent of the bill, which was to protect religious liberties, regardless of what religion you are, by the way, is very valid and is constitutional under our federal constitution. So we have to clarify that, because there's a movement afoot, then we will do that, and that's perfectly within our purview. And appreciate all the feedback we got on that. So I'm glad it didn't get passed in its form. So it needs to be tightened up so that everybody understands what it really means.